evening and welcome to News Watch tonight with me, Tony Omondi, as I give you the latest news updates from across the country. It is the 28th of September 2021 and we're coming to you live from 28 Valley Road. Thank you for joining us. Our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin our broadcast tonight. The government has launched a COVID-19 mass vaccination drive targeting inmates and officers in prisons across the country. The 5-day exercise that targets 133 correctional facilities was flagged off by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i and his health counterpart Mutahi Kagwe at the Naivasha Maximum Prison. The Kenya Prison Service has received 100,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines that will enable a bigger population of inmates get vaccinated against the virus. Dolly Murigi reports.
With Kenya now targeting to vaccinate at least 10 million of its population by the end of the year, inmates have not been left out. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i led a mass vaccination drive at Naivasha Maximum Prison on Tuesday, which the CS says will pave the way for their loved ones to visit them once again in prison, with full vaccination having been administered.
To take part,
the prison's health department, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, was finalizing on the protocols that would ensure a clear rollout of the vaccines in all the correction facilities around the country. The CS say the prison industry has recorded over 91% recoveries of COVID-19 patients since the onset of the pandemic. He attributed the success to timely interventions by prison authorities and support from donors and international partners.
Kwa sababu ya mapenzi ya Mwenyezi Mungu, tukapata marafiki wetu wazuri kama hawa watu wetu wa Red Cross, Aisha na wengine, wakashirikiana na sisi, wakatusaidia. Na ushirikiano huu kati yetu sisi, Wizara ya Afya, na wafadhili na wale wengine, ndio umetuleta hapa. Tukajenga isolation facilities, tuko na wards, na wakati tulikuwa tunasikiza daktari wetu wa hapa prisons alituambia, bado tuko na capacity. Tukiwa na shida yoyote, tunaweza ku-isolate wale tuko nao.
Matiang'i has asked inmates across the country and prison staff to accept the vaccination program to aid in fighting the virus.
Hatujatoka hiyo jangani, hatujatoka huko. Kwa hivyo ni lazima tuendelee kujikinga na kushunga, ndio tusije tukafika wale watu vile wale watu walifika. Mimi nimeshachanjwa. Wale ambao wanasema ati chanjo hili sijui inafanya nini, ati wengine hawazai, wengine hawafanyi nini. Mimi nataka kusema wazi, mimi nimechanjwa. Na mimi nasema wazi, mtu anaweza zaa akichanjwa. Na msiniulize ni majua hiyo namna gani.
Correctional facilities in the country have always posed a headache to the government since the onset of the pandemic due to the inmates' population that makes it difficult to observe COVID-19 protocols. At least 17 officers in the prison facilities have lost their lives due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Na tumefanya vizuri kwa sababu mashule yetu yale yako kwa prisons. Wakati huu unajua waziri, tumeanza kutoa wanafunzi kutoka hapa kwa hawa wafungwa wanaenda vyuo vikuu ambao wanasomea katika majela yetu. Na sasa tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba tumeboresha elimu katika majela yetu, so that we get more of you, wale ambao mko hapa, kupata elimu zaidi na kusaidika kwenda kule mbele.
The government wants to make sure that by Friday next week, they should at least open up the prison so that inmates can meet their family members, and the fastest way is to ensure that they're all vaccinated against the virus. Dolly Murigi for Hope TV News Watch.
Deputy President William Ruto and ODM party leader Raila Odinga have continued to popularize their presidential bid with revival of the economy as their key agenda. DP Ruto has said that small-scale traders need to be empowered through well-set policies, while the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga said he will put in place an export-oriented industrial policy to put the export agenda in the hands of the private sector when elected president in 2022. Our reporter Kennedy Kimani has more.
While addressing Nairobi small-scale traders at his current residence on Tuesday, Deputy President William Ruto said his Hustler Nation will strive to create a conducive environment for small-scale traders across the country if it gets to power.
Hawa wanasema hii plan ya bottom up na hii plan ya mahasla haiwezi kufaulu. Mimi nataka niwaambie ile kazi tumefanya. Mnataka kuniambia watu wa Nairobi ati kutafutia hawa vijana wetu kazi na kutafuta pesa ya kupatia hawa wafanyabiashara wadogo. Mnataka kuniambia hiyo kazi ni ngumu kuliko ile tulifanya ya reli? Ati ni ngumu kuliko kujenga expressway?
Speaking on Tuesday during a breakfast meeting with Buy Kenya Build Kenya, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga said he will revive the business spirit and ensure the private sector is empowered to make Kenya a trading nation with a unique product identity in the global export trade market. A group of youths from Mwingi have invited the Deputy President William Ruto to visit Mwingi town following his recent tour in Kitui County. They say that the Deputy President, who has been helping youths from other parts of Kenya, is welcome to Mwingi to preach his bottom-up economic model, and nobody should bar him from his democratic right.
Sasa hawa ni mahasla. Sisi wenye mavijana wa Mwingi tumesikia juzi tumekuwa na mheshimiwa hapa Migwani akasema ataingia Ukambani. Mheshimiwa Ruto tumemkubali aingie Mwingi.
Juzi kumekuwa na watu wa nyumbani wamekuja hapa na lengo kuu lao pia walifunga Ruto asiingie hapa Mwingi. Na sisi kama wana bodaboda na maasla wa Mwingi tumefungulia Ruto rasmi tukiwa kwa bridge ya kuingia Mwingi. Mahali walisema hata ivuka.
Chenye tunataka hapa, kuna watu walikuja hapa Mwingi wakasema Ruto sikanyange hapa. Sasa Ruto tumemfungilia njia. Imodhokie akolende ukuja hapa Mwingi. Na sisi watu wa kama Asura, watu wa bonda tunataka tukaribishe Ruto akuje Mwingi tuongee na yeye.
Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Now, former Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC CEO Ezra Chiloba has now been appointed the Director General of the Communications Authority of Kenya, CA. Chiloba takes over from Francis Wangusi and will stay at the helm of the authority for a period of 4 years. According to a statement by the Communications Authority Board, the appointment follows a competitive recruitment process to fill the position left vacant with the retirement of former Director General Francis Wangusi. Chiloba is a policy consultant and principal partner with Chill and Kemp Consultancy and an advocate of the High Court. He holds an undergraduate degree in law from the University of Nairobi, a Master of Arts degree from Central European University in Hungary, and a Master of Science degree in Program Management. He served as the CEO of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, from 2015 to 2018 when he was suspended from the commission. Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital, KUTRRH, has received a boost following the commissioning of a 20,000-litre oxygen plant. The commissioning was led by the chairperson of the KUTRRH board, Professor Olive Mugenda, with the plant now expecting to aid treatment of COVID-19 patients, especially after the facility was categorized as a national isolation center for management of COVID-19 by the Ministry of Health in March 2020 and has continued to treat and isolate COVID-19 patients. Dickens Luvanda attended the commissioning ceremony and filed for us the following report.
At a time the country has embarked on vaccinating its citizens against COVID-19 pandemic, international partners have undoubtedly supported Kenya's health sector through various projects in an aim of curbing the coronavirus pandemic. Through the support of the World Bank, the Ministry of Health has commissioned a 20,000 litres oxygen plant at the Kenyatta University Hospital, a national referral hospital with a 650-bed capacity in Nairobi County, in a boost to the hospital's frontline role in the fight against COVID-19.
So the project has been supporting both national level and county level facilities to respond to COVID. Currently, oxygen is the #1 need for the patients. So we have worked with different facilities to give them oxygen. So we here in KU today, we've given the 20,000 liter oxygen tank. We have given the same to Kenyatta National Hospital, the COVID isolation unit, and we'll be giving other tanks, smaller ones for other facilities. Some are 10,000 liters, 8,000, depending on their capacity. So we are working in collaboration also with the Council of Governors to identify the most needy facilities.
The World Bank through the Ministry of Health for the support we have got so far, especially in regard to the bulk oxygen tank. We are really grateful because this will enable us support our patients and also enable us support other facilities.
The plant was first received by the KTRH on September 16, 2021, placing the hospital in a vantage position, given that the facility has been receiving overwhelming numbers of COVID-19 patients ever since it was categorized as a COVID-19 isolation and treatment center.
The liquid oxygen is a bulk supplier of oxygen, and it will augment what we already have within the facility, which is our medical gases plant. We all recognize that COVID patients utilize a lot of oxygen, up to 50 liters of oxygen per minute. So if you have a small tank taking care of a patient, it means the liquid, the cylinder will probably not last more than half an hour. And if you have 400 patients, then obviously it means that you require a bigger supply of oxygen.
The oxygen tank, which will be refilled for 1 year by the Ministry of Health, will boast the hospital's oxygen plant, which caters for COVID-19 patients and other critical ill patients, especially after hospitals such as the Kenyatta National Referral Hospital stopped offering surgeries over the shortage of oxygen in April this year.
Depending on the usage, it would probably last between a month to 2 months, depending on the number of patients whom we are taking care of.
The COVID-19 pandemic has worsened the situation in the country, doubling Kenya's oxygen needs.
The launch of the 20,000 liters oxygen plant at the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital comes as a major boost to COVID-19 patients who require this much-needed necessity. Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV Newswatch in Nairobi County.
Away from that, market vendors in Kangaroo Market, Embu County, have decried an abandoned modern market which cost taxpayers millions of shillings. The traders have called on the county government to compel vendors operating outside the facility to shift to the market stalls. They say the ultra-modern market is yet to be fully utilized, faulting the county government for failing to provide adequate security and cleaning services. They also want the market to be publicized enough to attract clients to the center.
Tumeachwa kwa soko tukiwa watu watano. Na hata jioni sisi nasi tunajaribu kutokea ili tuweze kusaidia watoto wetu. Sida yenye ilitokea Kajo, kuna mtu mmoja kwa Kajo alitokea na license yake akapea watu wa duka. Wakaanza kuuza vitu za soko kwa maduka. Nasi tukaachwa na huku sasa tukakaa vitu zetu zikaozea kwa soko. Kila mtu alitokea kutafuta namna. Na tukiambia watu wa Kajo wanatuangalia wanasema tuandike barua. Sasa hiyo shida yetu imeenda sana mpaka tukiweka kitu inaibiwa.
Na tumetambika sana kwa miaka mingi kwa sababu biashara zetu tunaweka alafu sinadidimia all of a sudden. Alafu mtu akienda kuinuka hauinuki kwa sababu soko zimejengwa mingi sana huko kwa jia. Watu wengi wametokelezea na tumasoko kule tufibanda tumejaa, ukienda huko usiku hata huwezi sema ni soko ama ni nini. Huku soko imeashanishwa hivyo hakunanga biashara. So ile kitu tunaomba ni Kanjo na all the stakeholders watuangalie, tujue vile tutainua hii soko, wamama tuinuke pia tujisaidie. Na pia tungeomba sana kwa Kolo kuingia kwa hii soko, watu hata wajuagi soko iko wapi. Kwa hivyo tungeomba tuwekewe either board moja inaonyesha market iko wapi, pia street light. Pande zote mbili kuingia kwa soko kuna giza sana. Tunaomba tusaidike na wakuje at least tuketi na wao chini tuongee tujue ile file tutasaidika kwa hii soko.
Kitui County health facilities are set to receive a huge consignment of drugs and non-pharmaceutical products procured from the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, in an effort to enhance health services in the county. Speaking during the flagging off ceremony, Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu expressed her delight for the quick processing of the order that will see all 298 health facilities benefit. On his part, the acting KEMSA CEO, Edward Njoroge, assured county governments of prompt services. Grace Ongoi reports.
For residents of Kitui County, it is a sigh of relief after their governor, in collaborative efforts with the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, flagged off a 64 million shilling consignment, which will see to it that 298 health facilities are supplied with both drugs and non-pharmaceutical products. This, according to Governor Charity Ngilu, is an effort to ensure universal health care is achievable for Kitui residents.
The county has made progress in health sector in the last 4 years. Health services delivered and delivery is a priority, as highlighted in our manifesto, pillar number 2. We have a 5-pillar manifesto. Number 1 is food and water, 2 is healthcare, 3 is education and youth empowerment, number 4 is women empowerment, and number 5 is wealth creation.
The flagging off comes just a day after Ngilu signed a partnership with NHIF to cushion at least 85,000 vulnerable families. The partnership will see residents pay only 3,000 shillings per year, a subsidized rate, in comparison to the annual 6,000 shillings rate usually paid when one becomes a member of NHIF. The authority has had its name dragged through the mud in the past for numerous allegations of mismanagement and corruption on COVID-19 funds totaling to 7.8 billion shillings. Acting Chief Executive Officer Edward Njoroge, speaking during the flagging off of the 17 trucks, assured county governments of prompt services in an effort to restore trust with county governments, who are their largest customers.
All county governments from Nairobi to the ones in far-flung areas can rest assured that KEMSA has the necessary capacity to service all procedurally placed orders for delivery within 7 days or less. Our clients can rest assured that all KEMSA staff members are fully committed to transforming the authority to a customer-responsive last-mile health products and technologies supplies agency.
Ngilu, on her part, after what seemed like a thorough questioning of the KEMSA team regarding the consignment, expressed that the authority had affordable rates and had been able to process this order in a week.
We want to assure you, I've worked as a Minister of Health before, and I know this is an institution that must be protected by all of us who want to see better health care in this country. You are affordable, you are giving us quality drugs, you don't give us expired drugs, and therefore I want to assure you that I'm going to be part and parcel of all those who are going to be marketing KEMSA.
Grace Wangoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
The county government of Taita Taveta signed a memorandum of understanding with the Natural Products Industry NPI initiative for Kenya to allow purchase of herbal products for scientific validation as potential immune boosting against respiratory infections, including the COVID-19. Speaking at Coast Institute of Technology, Voi, during a 2-day meeting between the NPI, County Government of Taita, and a section of CBOs involved in herbal products, National Products Industry Coordinator Dr. Evans Teracha said the agreement is guided by the Kenyan National Legislation, Protection Knowledge and Cultural Expression Act 2016.
Kwa miaka mingi kulikuwa na ndoto ya kuwa kwamba madawa za kiasili ziweze kufanyia utafiti washikane na wanasayansia, scientists, ambao imetimika sasa hapa Kenya na hapa Taita Taveta, kwa sababu results zikitoka kuwa dawa fulani ambayo imetoka humu Taita Taveta inaweza kupeana tiba ama immune booster, itakuwa ni game changer kwa madaktari wetu wa madawa za kiasili hapa Taita Taveta.
Katika mradi huu sana sisi tunahusika kwa sababu members wetu ndio wako na hizi dawa asili, na kwa sababu hizi zinatokana katika misitu yetu ya Taita Taveta ambayo sana CBO yetu imefikiria juu ya kuweza kuyatunza. Wanapotumia dawa tunawafundisha jinsi ya kuweza kutumia mti vizuri usikauke. Tunashukuru sana mradi huu wa NPI ambao umekuja kwa wakati unaofaa kuhusisha vijana ambao wamewaita Young Champions. Tunashukuru sana, maana hapo ndiko tunaweza kuendeleza mafunzo haya kwa vizazi na vizazi.
Tumekuwa kwa kaunti ya Siaya, ya Bungoma, ya Kakamega. Sasa tuko hapa Taita Taveta kwa ajili ya kupanda dawa kutoka kwa daktari wa tiba ya kiasili kutoka kwa hizo kaunti mbalimbali. Tukimalizia hapa tunaenda Central Kenya, pia kwa kuwa na hii shughuli huko, tuongee na madaktari wa kiasili wa sehemu hiyo ya Kenya, na pia tutaenda sehemu zingine.
All right, Newswatch now takes a short commercial break. We'll be back shortly with more. Do stay with Hope TV.
Imagine creating a space where people in our community, friends, neighbors, and co-workers can have conversations in a way that is honest and relaxed, where leaders don't have to have all the answers and anyone can ask questions. Alpha is a series of interactive sessions that explore the basics of the Christian faith. Alpha Kenya is launching Alpha in Swahili on 30th September 2021 from 3 p.m. Tune in and watch the live event on Hope TV or Alpha Kenya Facebook page as we launch Alpha za Filamu and Alpha za Kusikiliza. Alpha. Maisha. Imani. Mungu. For more information, visit www.kenya.alpha.org or text 0707 998 371.
Ngarisha na Optiven. Guess what? It's just about the right time to build your dream home. At the Garden of Joy by Optiven. It comes with Maram roads, solar street lights, water piping along the mains, children play area, and a jogging truck. Get your value-added plot at only 1.495 million Kenyan shillings cash with flexible installment options for up to 12 months. Deposit 995,000 Kenya shillings and get a free washing machine for your home. Ngarisha na Optiven. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's look at what is happening on COVID-19 situation. The country has recorded 255 new coronavirus cases from a sample size of 6,305 tested in the last 24 hours. The COVID-19 positivity rate now stands at 4.0%, with total positive cases rising to 248,770. According to a statement from the Ministry of Health, 508 patients have recovered from the virus, raising the total recoveries to 241,180. At the same time, 7 more patients have succumbed to the virus, bringing the total fatality to 5,116. In terms of admissions, a total of 1,078 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 2,303 are under the home-based isolation and care program. 77 patients are in the intensive care unit. Meanwhile, the country on Tuesday received the second batch of 210,000 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines from the U.S. government to boost vaccination efforts. The vaccines arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA, from the COVAX facility. On the 17th of this month, the country received 795,600 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines. Another batch of the vaccine is due to arrive in the country in the coming weeks to complete the 2.03 million Pfizer vaccine doses the U.S. government pledged to donate to Kenya. This comes as the Ministry of Health announced that a total of 3.67 million vaccines had so far been administered across the country against a targeted population of 27.2 million as at Monday, 27th September. According to data from the Ministry of Health, the uptake of the second dose among those who received the first dose was at 32.3%. Right, let's move on. President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged the global community to remain focused on the fight against malaria despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The president, who is also the current chairman of the African Leaders Malaria Alliance, ALMA, said it was unfortunate that COVID-19 had overshadowed all the efforts that had gone into fighting malaria. The president spoke on Monday evening at State House, Nairobi, in a virtual address to End Malaria Council EMC, a group of global public sector and business leaders that seeks malaria eradication as a critical health and development priority.
We want to ensure that the great work of the Global Fund and all our other partners have contributed over the years in helping us fight malaria will not be reversed in the coming years. We need to ensure that we protect the architecture, the infrastructure that we have developed for malaria, even as we fight future pandemics. And this is one of the issues I'll be engaging Donald Kaberuka and the rest of you as we continue working towards future replenishment. That look, let us not forget this fight. Let's get our partners to understand that it is in the interest of everybody that we keep our eye on the ball. The fight against malaria, the fight against TB, the fight against HIV/AIDS. These are all critical fights that will ensure that we are better placed not only to fight the current pandemic that is keeping people's attention, but also help us prepare to protect ourselves against future pandemics.
From a resource mobilization.
The Yala Swamp residents in Siaya County have petitioned the government to revert the wetland into community land, accusing an investor and local politicians of turning it into private entity. Speaking at Daraja Market in Bondo Sub-County, when the National Environmental Complaints Committee visited the wetland, the community members lamented that both the investor and county government leadership had abandoned them in their quest to benefit from a portion of the swamp and preserve some land for the wildlife. Led by the chairman of the Yala Swamp Community Organization, Walter Otieno Nyangira, the community lamented that the investor and the alleged land grabbers were now kicking them out of the wetland by plowing their farms.
Tumechoka na hiyo kanyagwa. Tunatoka the swamp iwe registered under the community land. Mahali tunataka zamani ilikuwa trust land. Sasa iko community land. Na community land sisi haturuhusi hata investor atake hata kukaingia. Hata sasa kuna watu hapa juzi investor alilima masawa zao na mahindi yote akaweka ndio awifu. Tunataka mtoke hapa mjue kwamba huyu investor ako na eka ngapi na nani alimpatia.
We have learned that the water department here has done some tests on water. The problem is the people here did not have that report. So what we have done is a coordination of those departments. The community will have a report on the cleanness of the water. They will have a report on what NEMA has done, and we'll follow up to see that all their complaints have been sorted out.
Somebody will say, I'm a professional. But one thing most of us do not know, in public leadership where we have a progressive constitution, it doesn't matter whether you are a professional. It is how you manipulate governance instruments. You don't just say, I'm so and so. People doing their duties mechanically, routinely.
Let's now look at what is happening internationally. 4 political parties in Tunisia have announced a coalition to oppose President Kais Saied's move to seize governing powers. The Democratic Current Party, FDTL, the Republican Party, and Afek Tunis announced the formation of the coalition in a news conference on Tuesday. The Secretary General of the Democratic Current Party, Gazi Chawashi, said that the objective of the coalition is to express the refusal of the monopolization of power. The coalition says President Said has lost his legitimacy. Last week, the president announced he would rule by decree and ignore parts of the constitution. And Japan is set to lift a coronavirus state of emergency in all regions on Thursday this week for the first time in nearly 6 months, as coronavirus cases and deaths fall and the strain on medical system eases. This is according to the government. Daily cases have fallen nationwide from more than 25,000 last month to 1,128 on Monday, but the opening will be gradual, with some curbs on restaurants and large-scale events staying in place for about a month. The government will introduce a certification system whereby only approved restaurants can stay open until 9 p.m. and a ban on serving alcohol will be lifted everywhere unless local governors object. The state of emergency, which applies to large parts of the country, has been repeatedly extended and expanded since it was first declared in April. The measures were in place in Tokyo during the Olympics and Paralympics, forcing residents to watch most of the sport on television. Let's take another quick commercial break here on News Watch. Be back with business and sports news.
Our world needs humble, confident, bold, and integrity-infused leaders.
Live online, Thursday through Friday, October 14th and 15th, 2021. Join thousands of curious, growth-minded, change-driven men and women like you for the premier leadership event of 2021, the Global Leadership Summit. Some of the world-class faculty includes Craig Goshel, Senior Pastor of Life Church, Jami Lima, Richard Montanes, who started off as a janitor and rose to be a top executive. Local faculty include Justice Daniel Musinga, who'll talk about the quest for justice, fairness, and equality. Bishop David Oginde, CEO and founder, the Carter Lead Associate. Daniel Kamau, CEO, Fusion Capital. Archbishop Eliud Wabuhala, Chairperson, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Committee. Among other speakers, guest musician will be Florence Moretti. To register, call 722-490325 or visit www.kenyaleadership.org. Everyone wins when a leader gets better.
Let's continue with business news. Tourism stakeholders have been urged to tap into the domestic tourism segment to help soften the blow from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Tourism Principal Secretary Safina Kwekwe says domestic tourism remains the viable option to revive tourism businesses in the wake of the pandemic that has disrupted businesses all over the world. Speaking on Monday in Diani, Kwale County, during celebrations to mark this year's World Tourism Day, running under the theme Tourism for Inclusive Growth, Kwekwe said the country has a huge potential for revival given that domestic tourism and international arrivals are bouncing back. Alice Dana has more.
Kenya is this week marking World Tourism Week at a time the country is still battling the coronavirus pandemic, with calls to tourism stakeholders to tap into the domestic tourism segment to help soften the blow from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Tourism Principal Secretary Safina Kwekwe, domestic tourism remains the viable option to revive tourism businesses in the wake of the pandemic that has disrupted businesses all over the world. Almost 2 years since the disease was declared a global pandemic, Kenya's tourism industry managed to remain afloat by harnessing the power of domestic travel. The PS was in Diani, Kwale County during celebrations to mark this year's World Tourism Day, running under the theme Tourism for Inclusive Growth on Monday, where she said the country has a huge potential for revival given that domestic tourism and international arrivals are bouncing back and that the government is keen to develop better policies in bringing in ease of doing business to enable tourism to grow. Kwekwe was accompanied by the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenyatta International Convention Center, Nana Gisaga, National Coordinator, Mama Ngina Waterfront Park, Ali Nur, and Coast Regional Tourism Manager, John Mutua, where she decried the ban on international flights, saying the move has delivered a big hit to the tourism industry that has been the lifeblood of the local economies of the coastal counties of Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, and Lamu. World Tourism Week celebrations come at a time when Kenya has been removed on the COVID-19 red list by the United Kingdom, a move that expects to boost tourism. For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
Kenya Electricity Generating Company PLC KENGEN has kicked off the construction of a research and development R&D center at Tana Power Station located in Murang'a County in a move to boost innovation in the company. The construction of the R&D center, which will also double up as an archive for the company, is expected to take 18 months to complete, making KENGEN one of the first public sector entities in Kenya to establish such a facility. Speaking during the foundation stone-laying ceremony, KENGEN Managing Director and CEO Rebecca Miano said the project, which is 5 weeks ahead of its implementation plan, is part of KENGEN's overall diversification strategy and will go a long way in helping the NSE-listed firm to identify and implement new revenue streams much faster.
We are here to lay the foundation stone for the research center, archive and museum for KENGEN. And this project is very important for KENGEN. It will be for immortalizing all our records and our work, and for sustainability, it will live beyond our generation. It's for generations to generation. And this research center will actualize our dream to be innovators. I believe in these research centers, ideas will be conceived that will change our business, that will change the energy sector, and even the country, the region, and the world. And so it's one of those very exciting projects, and we are here to witness the great milestone.
KCB Group PLC, through its social investment arm, KCB Foundation, will extend scholarships to university students, deepening its play in supporting the education sector. The foundation has revamped its scholarship program to incorporate university scholarships in its portfolio, in addition to the existing high school scholarship program to the tune of 131 million shillings over the next 10 years. The top 50 performers from the high school program will now receive university scholarships catering for the tuition fee in any public university in Kenya, commencing with the 2020 KCSE class.
Please join Rosalind.
Run the high school program for the last 14 years. Every year we have supported 240 students. And this year we decided to take it a notch higher and launch the university program, because from the feedback we got, a lot of the students are still not able to pay for their education going forward. And one of the things we want to also achieve is to create a high performing culture. So this is not for all the students, it's for the top performing students, the A's, the A minuses, but also inside there to look at the persons who are able differently. So for every cohort we will be taking 2 students. And then over and above that, after your first semester, we issue each of the students with a laptop. And the reason we are doing this is that sometimes some students don't enroll into university for one reason or another. And we want to make sure that, one, they have enrolled into the university, and then two, set the pace of tracking their performance from the word go. And that gives us time to have set up a relationship with their deans and see how we'll be getting their results. Because for us, the journey doesn't end there. We plan to handhold these students, we plan to mentor them. They will still continue running with their apprenticeship programs where they will be absorbed into our branches.
Education is one of the core pillars of our citizenship agenda. We believe that education is critical. It provides access for our young people. And today we are extremely excited to be launching our university program where we will be sponsoring 50 of our top high school scholarship program recipients who will be getting a 4 or 6 year university education on behalf of KCB Foundation. And we will be sponsoring to the tune of 131 million over the next 10 years. And we are commencing with the class of 2020, the KCSE class of 2020.
And to some sports news now, the UEFA Champions League Match Day 2 kicks off tonight as Manchester City face off with PSG at Parc des Princes as RB Leipzig welcome Club Brugge at the Red Bull Arena in Group A. Elsewhere, German giants Borussia Dortmund will look to make it 2 wins from 2 Champions League group stage games when they welcome Portuguese champions Sporting Lisbon to Signal Iduna Park. AC Milan and Atletico Madrid will both go in search of their first wins of the 2021-22 Champions League at San Siro as Liverpool will endeavour to make it 2 wins when they travel to Estadio do Dragão for Group B clash with Porto. Meanwhile, Real Madrid will be looking to make it back-to-back wins in Group D at home to Sheriff Tiraspol as both Shakhtar Donetsk and Inter Milan will be looking to bounce back from opening night Champions League defeats when they lock horns in Ukraine. All right, with that, we've come to the end of Newswatch tonight. Thank you so much for keeping us company. I'm Tony Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. I leave you with tomorrow's weather forecast. Have a blessed night.